This podcast is sponsored by YSC Real Estate Group. YSC Real Estate Group is a full-service brokerage offering a tailor-made service, versatility and expertise for all your real estate needs. Are you thinking about selling, buying, investing or having your properties managed? For more information, check our website, www.yscrealestategroup.com. We are passionate about real estate and we love to support local businesses. We hope you guys enjoy the podcast. Cheers.
This is our first video podcast
So lucky.
with you're kind of chewing a little loud, Chris. Do you need a?
You swallow.
It's like
It's
Yeah,
ASMR.
I forgot about that.
yeah.
No worries.
But yeah, this is episode. Man, it's been like since November. I feel.
Yeah, I think the last one we did was just before the lockdowns.
Yeah. So we're episode 23 now, I think.
Yeah.
And man, it's been a crazy couple months just to get this set up. We're in the new studio now, and just getting all the cameras. I think I asked you in November.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
And then we just been like,
Yeah.
I kept delaying it, and I was like, oh man, I feel so bad. But yeah, we're glad that you're here, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And just a little information about Chris. Chris does home inspection.
Mm-hmm.
His company is called Odds on Home Inspection, and yeah, let's start talking on how you got into it and where you're from. You're from
I'm from England.
England, and I think when we first met, I think that's why we kept coming back to you, is because your accent.
Yeah,
is-
there you go. I was good at one thing.
But it was interesting because a lot of inspectors that work with you also are from England, and you brought
They
them
are.
over.
Yeah,
and
I didn't actually bring them over.
Oh no.
There's
Yeah, let's hear the story.
the
and-
story. Yeah. So the story in regards to inspectors.
Yeah.
There's 8 of us.
Okay.
6 of them are English.
Okay.
Just so happens, and 2 are Canadian.
Okay.
So
Dan and John.
Dan and John. You're correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both Canadian. So
Mm-hmm.
I started on my own.
Yeah.
In 2010
Okay.
when I came over, and
Why'd you come over to?
Calgary in
I
particular.
have
Yeah.
family here.
Oh, you do.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have. So I have an auntie and uncle who moved here approximately 58 years ago.
Oh, wow.
I actually have 3 cousins who are all Canadian born.
Wow.
All in their early 50s. So
Crazy.
yeah, so that's why Calgary, just
Yeah.
because there is some family there. Is a bit of you got something to fall back on if you need it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I had a second auntie and uncle moved here around about 42, 43 years ago.
Okay.
Also 2 cousins,
Mhm.
but they were born in England and came over, also in their 50s now. So
Mm.
Calgary was the choice because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And how old were you when you came here?
I was, so I've been here, so I was 37.
37.
Yeah, I'm 48 right now.
48.
Yeah, I'm old.
Young. That's
Yeah,
good.
And why did you want to come to Calgary? Because they were here. You just had family.
So
and what
I-
were you doing in
So
England?
this is really how it
Yeah.
happened. I'd been to Canada a lot of times.
Yeah.
Obviously visiting family, and I loved it as a place, And then I came here when I was around about 35, 36. My uncle was really sick, and he passed away. Yeah.
Yeah.
He actually he was the owner of Odds On.
Oh.
He had a company called Odds On Enterprises Limited, but it was a plumbing company.
Oh, crazy.
So I came over with my dad when I was about 35, more for support.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically the last time my dad was going to see his brother. Yeah,
Mm.
he had cancer. So I came over with my dad for support, and then I saw Canada as a dad and as an adult. Yeah, because before that I'd been out at 21 and it was all amazing and great. But when I was 35, 36, I was like, this is a great country, and this would be a great. And I had children then. Yeah, be a great place to bring my kids. I was thinking of it more of an adult point of view. Yeah, so I came over, spent some time here, and then went back. My uncle obviously passed away, and then I took what's called a redundancy from a company I worked for in England. I'd mainly done construction in the UK. So I took a redundancy package, which is basically they're scaling down their people. So they was paying people to kind of leave, yeah. So I took a redundancy package. I'd flipped a bunch of houses.
In
Where
England.
is he?
In England, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I flipped a bunch of houses in the UK.
Is that what you were doing in UK?
Construction.
Like
Mainly, all construction. Mainly
all
construction.
all
yeah.
construction, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've done some, some project management stuff. I've done electrical. I've done roofing. I've done plumbing. So I've done a lot.
everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So then I took the redundancy from the company that I'd been with for 16 years, and then I flipped a house, and then I was like, I probably need to get a real job at some point. And looking around England wasn't a great place then.
Yeah.
Like there was redundancy, unemployment was really high. So I was like, I want to do something I like. I don't want to get into something for the sake of it. And so then I started to think, after I'd come here with my dad to see my uncle, I thought, I'll explore Canada.
Did you have a family in England also?
Yeah,
Okay.
wife and kids. Yeah.
Oh, you had a whole family there.
Yeah, that's why they came.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah,
So your
yeah.
whole family came.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they did, and then I divorced.
Yeah.
When you moved here.
That's another story. Yeah, after I moved.
Was
here.
it during Stampede or something?
Yeah, it was around about that. So
You got the Stampede.
What part
Yeah.
of the UK were you from?
I was from a place called Kent,
Okay. yeah.
which is it's
University.
25 miles south of London, so directly down from London. So
That's cool.
yeah, pretty close.
My cousins go to school in Kent.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Cool.
the university out there.
Yeah, it's an okay place. They call it the Garden of England.
Oh,
I beg to differ. So my kids when I came here were 4 and 6.
Okay.
So then 15, 17.
And so when you came here, did you already knew what you were gonna do? Like, how did you?
I had no
start?
idea.
You had no idea.
No.
So what
Okay.
was the first thing you did? Like, how did you
So
get?
this is how the story
Yeah.
begins.
Yeah.
So I was just going to come out here with my money,
Mm-hmm.
because I'd done well with property in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. I had pretty much a fifth of what I sold my house for was mortgage. So I came out with a large chunk of change, and so I came out in knowing that I had that for a little while until I decided what I was going to do. I did want to flip houses here. That was one of the things that I was looking into. Yeah, and then I came over. I came over actually a month or two before I moved here, and I bought a house. So I came over, bought a house, and then the home inspector that did my inspection, he couldn't do it until I'd left,
oh,
and
why was that?
just because he was too busy.
Oh,
Yeah, so I'd left, come back to the UK. I'd found the house I wanted. He was doing the inspection. His name's Alan Badow, actually. He's still a home inspector now. He's a really nice guy. He was my mentor for a long time. And so I bought that house. He did the inspection, and then he was talking to my realtor at the time about like, what's this guy going to do when he comes over? And my realtor at the time was like, I don't really know. He's been in construction. He's interested in housing and stuff. So he asked a bunch of questions, and then I came over again, and I was out of town, and I'd bought another house as a rent.
But another house.
Another
It's an
house in
investment.
Canada as
Yeah.
an investment,
Yeah,
which I was going to use as a rental property. I got that same guy to come and do the home inspection on that one, and once again, I wasn't around. And then once again, he's asking all these questions to the realtor about what I'm going to do. So the realtor says, I don't know, but maybe he wants you to work with him. So I'd never met this guy, and I contacted Alan, and I said, hey, are you looking for someone? He said, I'm not looking for someone to be on my team or to have a team. I'd like someone who I could rely on when I go away, look after my clients. Yeah. So we talked, and then I went to school.
So this was the first month you came back, or like was it
This
right away?
was, I went to school probably in the September time.
Oh, you had to go to school for.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
designation.
Yeah, so I did my own. So when I came here, there was no licensing for home inspectors.
Really?
No, none at all.
Interesting.
That's crazy.
You just need a business card, basically. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
wow.
true. They always used to say that there was more home inspectors in the winter time because like the roofers couldn't do roofs anymore,
Oh,
so they become home inspectors. And then once the weather was good, they would ditch
back.
it. They'd go back.
Really? I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
That's
So
cool.
I think it came out around about 2011 or 12. So I went to school because I didn't want to just wing it and, get
Yeah,
a
yeah,
business card and say
Yeah.
I'm a home inspector. So I went to school. It was a relatively short course. And I went to school, and then by January I was registered with a company. And then Alan went to Vegas for 10 days on a golf trip. And I was like the busiest home inspector in the world. I was like, I couldn't keep up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Alan came back and I didn't do any work after that. And maybe I was a bit lazy at first. And, I thought, maybe Alan's going to throw me a bone. And Alan was busy doing his own stuff. And I was like, well, I need to get out there now. I did say to Alan about, do you want to partner up? I can do more of the social media side and that side of it. And, he's an older guy. He's probably in his late 60s now. But he didn't want to do that. So Alan actually ended up working for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Is he still with you?
He was with me until he moved to Didsbury. And then he went back on his own because I didn't want that area at the time.
Yeah.
So he ended up full circle. He ended up working for me
That's crazy.
until he left Calgary.
Crazy.
Yeah, so that's how I started.
So how did you? For those of you that you guys don't know, Chris has over 1,200 Google reviews.
Yeah, top-rated home inspector in Alberta, right?
Yeah, on Google and in Alberta. Yeah.
So how did you build that? And like starting from scratch, how did you get it going? Especially as a home inspector, I find like is it all word of mouth or like how did you build it to where it is right now?
So there's kind of two parts to it. So a very long time ago when I was just on my own as an inspector, a very big realtor in Calgary, I won't mention his name, he calls me, so he recommends me for this home inspection, and the house is 2.9 million. And obviously the guy who's buying the house obviously does a little bit of research, and he's like, goes back to the realtor and says, you want me to use a guy who has like one Google review?
Oh.
So then the realtor calls me, and I'm pretty new and green, and he's like, you need to get your reputation management in order. And I was like, yeah, I'm on it, don't worry about it. And I come off the phone and I was like, I don't even know what reputation management means. So I'm just a home inspector, yeah?
Yeah.
So then I kind of started to get more involved and thought, you know what, I need to ask people for reviews. And so we pushed it a lot at the start, for the first 3 or 4 years, and it was a slow process. I've kind of gone on the basis that it's around about a 10% return.
Do you ask for reviews?
So when we send their report via an email, because we do their reports and then we email it to them. We put in there about giving us a review. We started a service. We started this program called Star Loop in about 3 or 4 years ago, and basically, if they leave us a review, there's a tree planted on their behalf.
That's a good initiative.
It's planted in BC. It's with the Forestries of Canada.
Yeah.
It's obviously, I assume it's like a seedling, a little tiny seedling, but whatever. So that's now when we send out the email with their report, it basically asks them if they leave us a review, and then we fill out this little form. It sends them an email and just asks them very kindly if they would about the program.
Interesting.
And then it sends them a soft second reminder.
When did you start doing this?
The Star Loop?
Yeah.
About 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Is that when like your reviews just started skyrocketing or like skyrocketing? But like, yeah, how did it?
It definitely escalated.
It did, right?
No, so any sort of initiative that
because people want to know that like their review is doing something good too for the environment, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah, kind of. I guess at first I didn't think of it, but it kind of does go with the whole. Our houses are all built of wood, so kind of goes along. Plant with more trees. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can make more wood, but yeah.
It's funny.
So it's that's one of the main things that we do. We do a couple of other things. Like Home Stars is kind of slowly coming into this area. We have about 700 reviews on that. So
that's a good idea.
The good thing about like the Home Stars reviews is that you can't. There's no such thing as fake reviews. What frustrates me the most about Google is that you can easily do fake reviews, and that's what I don't like.
Yeah, I see that on your website. You really make it clear that these are real Google reviews.
I do because
it's like these are real Google reviews. They're not fake.
That's kind of directed at one company.
Oh,
so,
is it?
No,
Yeah.
they questioned it.
We won't. No, one company that's reviews are maybe not so honest as mine. So
interesting.
Yeah, I have one close competitor.
Like your competitor has a bunch of and then
and I know where they come from.
Interesting. Paid reviews.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to get paid reviews. I guess you could do it on Google, right?
Yeah. Facebook
Yeah.
was easier, I feel like, but Facebook got rid of all their reviews now.
Yeah, Facebook
really?
you can't do reviews.
Like, so we have like, I don't know how many reviews on Facebook, but once they stopped doing it, like those reviews are all there. But now we just funnel everything over to Google now.
Yeah, Google reviews, I think, is everything.
Yeah.
Especially, certainly for my business. Like, you know, if there's someone, and especially you, like, you know, real estate, they're like, oh, you know, give out free names. Well, if you give out free names and one guy's got 20 reviews, one guy's got 50 reviews, and one's got 1,200,
Totally.
you kind of, you know, take
Blow
it.
it out of the park.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
So-
that's what it is. When you go look at it, it doesn't look real. Because, I don't know any company in Calgary that has that many reviews.
Yeah.
No, we do. There's not really anyone close.
Right?
Because how many homes are you guys doing a year?
1,500.
Shit.
wow.
So
So
you've
this
been
is
doing it
what
for
I'm-
10 years.
This is
too.
what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
we've done 15,000 inspections,
Yeah.
with certainly that's
So
only
it's less than 10%.
It's only 10%. Yeah.
How are you managing all this? Because, I feel like when we still book inspections, we're still talking to
I
you.
do everything.
Oh,
You do everything.
I do everything.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I do payroll.
Yeah.
And you were at the inspection the other day with me.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
surprised I haven't seen you in a while.
I do training for the new guys. I do the insurance. I do the social media. I do the payroll.
You do everything.
I take in 60 e-transfers a week.
Wow.
It's a lot of work.
Crazy. And are you still doing home inspections?
Yeah.
You are too. Still.
Yeah. I was trying to scale back. I was not meant to be working Monday and Friday and just doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for inspections. But
How many hours are you working a day? And
Uh,
how is that? Because
a lot.
a lot.
It's different when it's your own
It,
thing.
it
though.
never stops. Like for me, when someone rings, when someone calls me, like I can train someone to try and answer questions. But if someone calls you, and everyone's a sales call, yeah, no matter what.
Yep.
Sometimes people will just say, hey, you know, I want to book Wednesday at 1. And you're like, great, that's cool, let's do it. And then other times it's like, well, why are you better than everyone else? What makes you, why have you got so many reviews? How do you do the roof? How do you inspect this? And I feel only I can answer them questions. Or maybe one of my guys has suggested that when he comes to retirement, maybe he will be the phone guy because he's had that, 10, 15 years of experience as inspecting, and he can answer them questions. But until then, I'm kind of on my own.
That's crazy, man. Because you're organizing everyone too.
Yeah, I have a paper schedule as well.
What?
Oh, really? Like a
Yeah,
calendar.
I should have brought it in.
It's not through like an app or anything.
So no,
What is happening?
We do have Google schedule.
Yeah.
But I book all of the. I have this big fat schedule.
Oh, wow.
And I book everything by hand, and then I put it in the guys' schedules.
Oh,
So they just go online every night,
Yeah.
and they go, oh, this is where I'm going tomorrow, and that's the end of it. That's all they have to do.
that's easy.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah.
It's like a dispatch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically, and I do everything else.
That's crazy, man.
Do you have much help though? Like outside of the inspectors? Is it just you?
It's me,
Oh, wow.
me and me.
Everything, payroll,
One
everything.
man show.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
When did you start hiring people in the company?
Yeah.
So what happened was that I was like, I'm going to be a home inspector. Alan said, I'll be a good fit. So like I said, it's going to be fine. I can work my own hours. I can take time off. And so once I got rolling, like once Alan came back from Vegas and I realized that I had to, grow up and do some stuff myself.
Yeah.
I started to hit, the offices, like, can I come in on a meeting? And, luckily we were still doing lots of face-to-face meetings then.
When you say offices, are you talking about you started?
Brokerages?
Yeah, like brokerages.
Yeah, like going into Century 21, seeing if I can meet the main person and say, hey, when's your weekly meeting? Can I come in and show you guys what I do? And actually, thermal imaging was relatively new then, so and I was doing it straight away. So that was kind of cool. Lots of realtors hadn't seen it if they'd had an older home inspector who wasn't using that. So I got in front of a lot of people then, and I think that really helped. You could actually physically meet people.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to build that
100%.
relationship is the face-to-face, right? Not a lot of people do that right now. Everything's
Yeah.
kind of online, but
Even with our business.
Oh, for sure, right?
Yeah.
So to get that face-to-face
That
is
was key.
like that's
Yeah.
how it
I
started.
feel so lucky that I started 10 years ago, because if I started, even before COVID still, like CIR, for example, 700 agents, everything's just logging on Monday morning. We're doing our meeting, for a home inspector to try and get on that platform. It's, even if you do get on that platform, on the camera, you still don't connect like physically being with people.
Yeah.
So I hit the streets, and then before I knew it, I was so busy. I was just turning down so much work.
Oh, okay.
My first year was crazy. I'd had a really good first year.
Do you remember how many houses or inspections you did?
I remember how much money I made.
That's more memorable.
It was, I could work it out, but it was a lot. I was working 7 days a week.
Oh, wow.
I was working 7 days a week, and then I was doing 3 inspections a day.
Yeah.
And then...
So you would do your inspections, do your reports, do everything in the evenings?
So at the start, there was we wasn't using iPads. We was using a notepad and pen and a camera.
Yeah.
So when I'd get home at night, at like 7 or 8, and I had 3 inspections to do from scratch. So I had to download all them pictures, and then we'd do it on the computer, but we didn't have like mobile. So
That's crazy.
yeah. So then a close friend of mine, Ray, Ray.
Yeah.
You must have met Ray.
Ray.
Inspector.
Ray Murphy. Yeah.
Honestly, I've met, I think, all of them, and they all sound the same.
Yeah,
So
so
it's
it's when people call me and they say, "Oh yeah, it was an English guy." I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it was you. I was like, "No, it wasn't me." But,
4 of you guys.
yeah, it could have been any of us. But, so Ray was actually a buddy of mine. I grew up with him. We went to school together. We went to school together. We worked together, and he moved here about 9 or 10 months after I did.
Okay.
And so he got into it. He was also in construction, so he was doing his course, and I couldn't get him like trained quick enough because I needed him. I was desperate. And then we just kept growing. We couldn't stop growing. It was either we turned work away, and it was never really the financial side for me. It was more, if you say no to a realtor 2 or 3 times, I won't call you anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what I didn't want. I wanted to always say yes. And I can be driving to work in the morning, I think like yesterday, for example, and someone says, "Hey, can you do a home inspection?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. When? Today?" Yeah, no problem. Like we
That's
literally
what I
can.
Yeah,
Wow.
And that's the beauty of having a team.
That's
So,
crazy.
A big team.
for sure.
Yeah,
I think the
'cause-
team definitely helps.
Yeah, because you guys can book pretty short notice too. Because I think last week I messaged you on probably Thursday, and you got me in on Tuesday.
Yeah, and like I can even say, I can normally get the following days.
The following days,
Normally possible.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So when you start, like, why do you think you grew so much? Like, was there a lot of competition?
Accent.
Exactly. Well, I think you are the only
I don't know
home
if-
inspector with the accent that
British.
yeah, British.
Other than your team.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I just keep. Yeah, they all come to me. I make them work for me. If they've got the accent, they have to work for me.
It is something with the accent because my what is he? Mirage has a
His cousin-in-law.
my cousin-in-law has an accent. And
Yeah.
I'm
From
like,
the UK.
He's from UK too.
Yeah.
And I always joke around. I'm like, dude, it's the accent. It's just so soothing or
Yeah.
something.
I don't know.
Because it just seems like there's
It's proper.
yeah.
Proper English.
Yeah, yeah. I have to, when I'm with Canadians, I have to kind of slow it down when I do that review at the end. I have to kind of, so they can understand what I'm saying. So, but yeah, I don't know. You're a home inspector, like a realtor. It's all about honesty, and I want every inspection to be great. I want everyone to be happy. I don't want a bad review. I want everyone to walk away at the end of it and be smiling.
Yeah.
So yeah, accent, no accent. Just do a good job.
Do the good
Yeah.
work, right?
Yeah, someone's
Yeah.
buying that
Yep.
$500 million home. Last thing you want is it's your fault that they bought a lemon because you
Yeah.
didn't do a good job.
I think it's
So-
the quality too. Like that's the feedback that we get from a lot of our clients, that the reports are very detailed and just
Yeah.
the quality of them. Like and also the turnaround time of it is very quick.
I think I probably spent maybe 200 or 300 hours on that report.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I used to love flying to England because I would literally work for 6 hours on that report, flying to England, and then probably 6 hours on the way back. And that would like fine tuning it, making sure I want to make it so easy for the guys that everything's there for them. You shouldn't really have to type anything. You should have a narrative for anything you see, yeah. And then as you go on, you see things over and over. You think, I'm going to add that narrative so that it's just there. It makes it more efficient for us and better for the client.
That's
That you're
good.
catching everything.
So you're constantly refining the product.
Yeah, constantly. Yeah.
That's good.
Every 200 to 300 hours, you said.
I would say I probably spent it on just on that template alone.
And this is your own template that
Yeah.
you've created.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What would you say the hardest thing for you has been creating to get to where you're at right now? Hiring these people, like as the more business comes, you're still in the business, very, very in the business still.
Yeah.
So what do you think the hardest thing is running this business?
The hardest, I guess, is the time. You know, you kind of get obsessed with trying to be number one or staying number one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you build it. I never planned to have a team. I just planned to be Chris, the home inspector, for the rest of my life until I retired, and ended up, I either turn the work away or grow the business, and it's grown into something that's, it's great. It's given me a great lifestyle, but it's a lot of work. You never really, like realtors, you never really stop working. 11 o'clock at night, you're watching TV and someone wants to book a home inspection. I do answer them, I always do. So,
yeah. How did you get everyone, like, build the team, and how did they come from England? Like, I thought, like, you recruited them.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah.
Sponsored them over.
That was my thought.
Sneak them in,
Yeah.
like illegal immigrants on the slow boat.
Hey, it worked, right?
Yeah.
If that happens.
So Ray obviously was a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Simon, I met like through kind of, you move to this country, and for some reason the realtor or whoever you meet when you first come thinks that you'll be best to meet other people from your country who have done the same as you. So
Totally.
I met Simon. He'd moved here about 3 or 4 years before me.
Mm-hmm.
So I met him. We become friends, and then he ended up working for me. Dan, Carl was the same. Sorry, Carl. He was a journeyman plumber, and he had been, he's on a job site and then it shuts down and he's looking for another job, and so then I thought he was a good fit. So then he came on. Dan was the next firefighter, actually.
Dan's that big guy,
He's
right?
the big Canadian guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He always goes over the fire code stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
he's
knows,
pretty
like,
he's
everything.
pretty into that. Yeah, he's a real nice guy. He
Yeah.
just has the right personality.
Yeah.
He's a laid back guy. He kind of, I wasn't looking to recruit someone when Dan come along. His wife's actually a real estate agent as well, and she just said, like, Dan doesn't want to have a business. He just wants to work for someone, and she said, if you've got any spare jobs, just throw them his way. And so that's how Dan come on, but he's been amazing. So Paul was also English. He was my handyman. He was kind of a semi-retired guy. He'd done a lot of commercial stuff in the UK, repairs. He had a roofing company. He's had a bunch of different businesses over the years, and he just kind of, house is paid off. I just do a little bit of handyman work on the side here and there, and then, when I was getting busy, I was like, he'd be a good fit. He knows everything there is about a house. So he came on, and then it's similar with John. John was the same, and I also have a guy called Alex who. So I don't know if you know, I'm an examiner in Alberta for new home inspectors.
Oh,
So
You're what?
like you write the exams.
I'm an examiner.
Oh.
So if for example, you want to be a home inspector, you do all your courses, and then after your courses, you have to do what's called a test peer inspection, test inspection.
Yeah, what does it take to be an inspector now, I guess?
There's various courses. Probably there's one course online, which is about 211 hours distance learning. And like I say, you have to do a test inspection with what's called a master inspector or a proctor, which is what I am. So the way the test inspection does is we inspect a house, and the student comes around with me, and we both inspect, and he has to get within 80% of what I get. And then basically he has two exams to do, 250 questions each. And I have to log in so they know that I'm supervising him for his exams. So I do that, and so I meet a lot of new up and coming home inspectors because of that. And I met this guy in Canmore. He was becoming a new home inspector, and he had an English accent, so I employed him, and that was it. We're now pushing into Canmore and Banff a lot more.
You're expanding.
close.
We are, and then we're in Red Deer, and
Edmonton.
I have a connection in the Yukon, And that guys, we're going to keep a business running in the Yukon, and we're going to push into Edmonton.
Yeah, let us know. We have some agents
You
and
do?
friends out there.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's our next plan.
Cool.
So,
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. It seems like your business is just organically growing.
yeah. Well,
Do you do social media stuff?
We do. Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah, he does it
Me.
all.
Yeah, it's normally pictures of me on a roof. But, yeah, I do all my own social media, and I'd like to. I could do it just doing 2 or 3 days of inspections a week, and then spending the rest of the time on social media and other stuff.
Do you do any reels on Instagram?
No,
You should.
I don't even know what that means.
Reels
I'm
are just
48.
they're like short video clips,
Oh.
and like you could go through a house and kind of give them like a little
Yeah.
thing to look for, like a little tip,
Yeah,
like an odds tip.
yeah, it would. Yeah, it would be good. And if I had more time, I could do that stuff. And that's.
I don't think you got any more time, man. If
I
you're
don't
still-
have any more time right now. So yeah.
What's the down season like for you guys? Most like same thing with the real estate
It
business.
was, that sort of end of November, December, early January. But
Yeah,
it
like
not-
this time right now.
Yeah, it's still busy though. We're still busy. I feel we're running out of houses
Yeah.
right now.
Especially with COVID, everyone's just looking.
Yeah. So
How has it impacted your business with COVID and how you do things now?
just like someone's having a home inspection, and they're paying for it. If they want to be there, that's fine. The masks, the sanitizing, the keep your distance. We kind of ask that they don't follow the inspector around the entire time. Let him do his thing, and then we still run through everything at the end with them on the iPad, so they can see everything that's that we found during the inspection. But it hasn't changed too much.
Yeah.
So
You mentioned that you had to get tested a couple times.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, we did too, man. We got.
Yeah, I got tested 4 times.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah, they're all
Jeez.
negative, but
Yeah.
I mean, because we're dealing with so many clients and just like proximity of people and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so-
mine was like, the seller's, is she okay to stay in the home because she's works in her office? And I'm like, yeah, no worries. And then, yeah. Oh, yeah, she was positive, by the way.
By the way, after.
Yeah, thanks. Cheers. So, yeah, the hardest thing about COVID is not being able to travel.
Yeah.
That is my downtime.
Yeah.
And if I ever leave the country, I actually leave my phone with one of the guys.
Oh,
Yeah, they all fight about who's not going to have it
yeah.
because none of them want it.
I think I messaged you before, and you were in like BC at a cabin or something.
Oh
Your
yeah, I
cabin?
have a place in BC.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So
I
we-
take it there. I have to leave at like a complete different time zone to leave my phone with someone. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I do like to travel, and that's kind of sucks right now.
Well, you got to disconnect, right? And
You do, yeah.
I think, especially for the amount of work that you're doing,
Yeah.
it's actually when you disconnect, you disconnect. It sounds like.
Yeah, like it was awesome. I went to the Maldives a couple of years ago, and
Uh-huh.
like just the time difference and no phone, and
Mm.
just in the middle of nowhere. That was pretty awesome.
I remember when I was in Japan. I was like just before I was going to sleep. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning. So
Yeah.
I'd work for like a few hours and
Yeah.
then go to sleep. And I'd be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I'll talk to you guys in like 8 hours after I wake
Yeah,
up." So
perfect.
it was like pretty tough.
Yeah, it is tough.
Yeah,
But it's easier now that we're business partners, right?
Yeah.
And someone else could take care of it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah.
That's-
We were both gone though. Like we had a
Oh, yeah.
two-week
yeah.
overlap.
That's-
He was in Europe and I was in Japan.
Yeah.
So we were still working on our own deals, like with
That's
the,
tough.
the like 14-hour time difference. I was like, "Fuck."
Yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot.
That was
It's
not
hard.
good, actually.
Yeah.
I remember I was working on a train. Oh yeah, that was.
I do love giving my phone away though. It's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just at the airport, like tapping my back pocket because I know I haven't got a phone. Yeah.
What would you say you've learned the most about business and how to deal business in the last couple of years, on how to run your business?
Yeah, when you go through life doing certain things and you don't really know what your niche is, and I never thought I was kind of management material, but I do think that is probably one of my strong points. I didn't think my mum was always in management like her whole life until she retired, and she was a hard ass. I know she was, but yeah, I didn't think that was for me, but I think it is. Like
Managing people.
managing people, like
Yeah.
having a team, and maybe it's a control thing. Yeah, maybe it's that I have a control problem, but only in my business.
you kind of grow into it though, because like you
Yeah.
kind of become a role that you need to make the business grow, right? If you're
Yeah.
going to be where you were 10 years ago, then the business will still be at the same place, right?
Yeah, I could have plodded along and just done 10 home inspections on my own for the rest of my time until I retired. But, you know, it was either grow or don't grow, and I took that choice.
Yeah.
And you know what? You know what I really enjoyed probably the most about this whole journey for me is watching how it's changed my guys' lives. You know, I watched Ray build a house and put a 75,000 deposit down. You know, if certain jobs he wouldn't have been able to do that. You know, he worked hard. You know, it wasn't just I gave him the money, but watching their lives change. You know, and then watching Cole. You know, he was in and out of plumbing jobs, and one minute he's working, when he's not, and then you're not working for a bit, and your credit cards start to build up, and then suddenly you're back in work trying to pay him off. And he'd never been back to England before. He'd never been able to afford to go back to England, and him going back to England and like a lavish trip, flying upper class and renting out the Range Rover rather than the Nissan, he just lived and I really enjoyed that, seeing them benefit,
seeing the evolution of
them benefiting from my business.
The impact.
I'm very fair in what I take. They pay me a percentage of their jobs, like a referral fee, and it's if you want to break it down into percentage, they pay me 18%. So of all the jobs they do,
That's very fair.
yeah, so,
18%.
yeah. So it kind of started off because Ray was a friend of mine, and it was me and Ray, and then obviously the referral fee never really went up that much. So whatever,
Just grew it.
yeah. But I'm happy. I'm happy they make good money.
It seems like your business has just been booming since you started. Was there any like hardships or anything hard that you had to deal with?
Yeah, like failures.
With the business, or any struggles that?
Is it bad to say no? Like
There's got to be something, man. Like
I honestly no.
like no
Time.
Like
Yeah.
I guess. Well, let's break it down. Did I work too much and end up divorced because of it? Yeah, very likely. So I did become I worked a lot, and I would come home from work in my office, and obviously that did contribute a lot to my divorce. I won't deny that. So yeah, if you say there is a downside to it, then I guess that was it. But business wise, it's always been good, and I've just been obsessively growing, and I just don't like to. I guess it's like you guys. The answer is to everything is if you answer the phone, there's a good chance you're going to get the job. If you don't answer the phone, then you're going to probably lose it.
Totally.
So answering the phone's key.
It is. That's that fine balance. Like I had an issue with that, like early in my real estate career, with like work-life balance.
Yeah, it's
Because
hard.
I would always be like work first, right? Because
Me the same, yeah.
I find that work, it offers the lifestyle that you want to live and the things that you want to do and the opportunities that exist. And it also, like when you're doing your own thing, it's great building your own thing too, right? Instead of working for somebody on a 9 to 5.
Sure, 100%, yeah.
So like it takes dedication and work, and sometimes it takes some sacrifices, but you grow the business.
So that's why I date a real estate agent.
Yeah.
Because she knows, and I know when she says I'm showing at 7 o'clock on a Saturday night, and when we're not going to have a drink now, I know that that's life.
It's a mutual understanding when you have a partner that
Is in the same industry.
is in the same industry.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
do think it helps.
It helps for sure. 100%.
Yeah.
I've had issues with that in relationships where like
Yeah, I can.
the schedule is so different, and
Yeah.
like my busy season is their slow season, my slow season is their busy season. so,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, as an entrepreneur too, there is no 9 to 5. It's literally when you get a message 24/7.
Yeah,
right?
totally. Yeah, if you want to succeed, I guess you have to give everything you got.
Yeah.
What advice can you give then, Chris? Because you've just been booming and growing. For entrepreneurs that are struggling, that have excuses, I would say, especially during COVID, during Calgary hasn't always been booming too, right? Up and down.
Yeah.
What advice can you give to the entrepreneurs listening or people starting a business that are struggling? And with your business, it's booming, right? So
Yeah, it's I kind of feel I'm lucky anyway with the home inspection is that we're kind of recession proof.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
And I'm not saying that I know it's recession proof. I just I've been here 10 years doing this, and I've gone through oil and gas being great, oil and gas being bad. Now we got COVID, and good times, bad times, and our business has never really changed. So, I mean, every business, it doesn't matter what it is, it's all hard work, dedication, being kind, being honest, being open. Yeah, is all you can do really. Yeah, hard work pays off.
For sure.
It gives you what you want in life eventually. If you,
I think hard work, people don't really understand how much work is put in
you know what?
to get it.
Oh my God! This is the way I see, especially with the oil and gas industry. People start to lose their jobs in oil and gas. So I'd just be a realtor or a home inspector because that's really easy. It's not.
Yeah.
It's really easy if you want to put in 100 hours a week.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's what people, I think with a lot of entrepreneurs and businesses is like they only see like the good side. And we did a podcast about being a realtor, and how many people ask us about being a realtor?
Yeah,
and
we
like
get a lot of people.
They think it's easy, and it's like,
It's not.
yeah, like it's like you have no idea, right?
Yeah.
I get at least one message a week
Yeah.
from someone about being a home inspector.
Yeah.
So.
Because I actually started in plumbing.
Oh, cool.
My dad owned a plumbing company.
Oh, I think I heard that on one of the podcasts.
Yeah, so I did that since I was like 12. Like pretty much every summer I worked with my dad every day.
That's a good
and
trade.
Like we worked probably like 10 o'clock till 8 o'clock every night. And I was getting paid like $20 a day.
Jeez. You're spoiling you.
And then what happened?
They're spoiling you.
But I learned a lot.
At least you got paid, right?
Yeah.
$100 a week, age 12.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And then after, like I started working 9 to 5 with Jason. Like we worked at Tim Hortons when we were like 14.
Cool.
And then, but I was still picking up shifts with my dad, like on the weekends and stuff like that, just to work with him, just to get some extra money. But then switching into a 9 to 5, like I went to school for oil and gas.
Yeah.
And then I hated it.
Yeah.
So, and then when I got back to real estate, I was like, I could just do this nonstop just because it's something that I'm interested.
And I think that's the thing. If you do something you enjoy, then you don't mind doing it.
Yeah.
As simple as that. For me, like, I inspect a house. Some are good, some are bad, some are terrible. But I know I'm only 2 or 3 hours later, I'm going to be moving on to something different. So.
What was the worst house
you've seen?
I've seen a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of,
Could you share those?
Yeah, sure. I did a house once. One of is it the Queen's Bench? What's the terminology?
The foreclosures, like a judicial sale.
Yeah. So we're at this house, and there's the potential buyers could bring in like a home inspector quickly. It was foreclosing. So I was brought in with this guy, and we're walking around the outside of this kind of like a bi-level. There was so much dogs mess in the yard that there was nowhere to step apart from in it.
Oh my god.
So I had these boots on, and then it's like covered all up the sides of the boots. Like I'm like covered in it's literally there's no grass, there's just dogs shit. Yeah
dog shit. Yeah.
So we get to the front door, and I start to unlace my boots, and the guy's like, no, just leave them on, it's the same inside.
Oh wow.
Inside too. Oh my god.
Holy shit.
So we went into the house. The lady was watching.
You must have some photos of this.
Was this on 16th Avenue?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
It was actually in Black Diamond.
Oh.
We went into the house, and I think there was maybe about 50 dogs.
Wow.
They were just running around, sleeping, and there was just similar inside.
And the homeowner wasn't home?
She was watching TV.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I've been in some houses with
watching TV.
Been in some interesting, uni houses, where they're all house sharing, a couple of guys in bed together, a couple of girls walking around naked, that's all. Yeah. Oh, there was a good one. We went into this house, and I'd done the outside. Realtor opens the door. We go in the front door, and there's some noise upstairs from the bedroom. So we're
was that the first room you checked?
No. We were still at the front door at that time, and so we kind of like a few times pretty loud, and
they weren't expecting it.
It stopped. The noise stopped, and then this young girl and this young guy come downstairs, and she was all bright red, and as she walked out the front door, she said, "Please don't tell my mum."
Oh.
So I guess she'd come home for lunch.
A little early.
She'd come home lunchtime from school
Oh,
while Mum was at work, but Mum didn't tell her there was a home inspection that day.
afternoon delight.
Yeah. So yeah, we see some stuff.
For sure. For
We
sure.
see some gadgets, in the bedrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some
Some
gadgets.
tools. Yeah.
Some gadgets.
Some interesting stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember the weirdest one that I went to was this house on 16th. It was a foreclosure. And when we got there, there was a hazmat warning on the
Oh
front.
my God. Nice.
And they're like, enter your own risk. Like, please wear a mask, all this stuff, right? When you go into the house, like, it was like a hoarder was living in there.
Yeah, we've done hoarders' houses.
There was mice, like, jumping around.
Oh my God.
And
gross.
there was like dead mice everywhere.
Ugh.
There was a dead mice in the toilet, and then they were saying that the bathtub, like the person that was living there was wiping their butt and just throwing the paper in there, and it was just
Oh my
piled
God.
up. So they're like enter at your own risk. And so
Just
like
unbelievable.
it's
How
pretty
some
crazy.
people live.
Yeah.
How do you even write a report on things like that?
Sometimes you just want to drive away
Yeah.
and go. But
Right?
yeah, you
Like,
just
how
do
do you-
you
how do
just
you-
do what you got to do. I mean,
Yeah.
especially with the hoarders' houses, you can't
Yeah.
get to anything. There's normally a pathway
Yeah.
from each
Yeah,
room
it's
to
just like a
each
little
room. You
path.
can, like, your hips are touching either side as you walk through. We've done a bunch of them.
Stacks
And I've
of-
driven down a street before and seen like a house with, the cars and trailers all outside, and you're like, please don't be that. Please don't be number 27, please. And then you
Yeah.
realize it's 2 doors down. You're like, oh, thank God for that.
newspapers stacked.
Yeah, to
That's
the
weird
ceiling.
thing.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's
there's
interesting.
orders out there, man.
Yeah,
There's-
I used to see it all the time when I was working with my dad too. Like, just stacks of paper,
Yeah.
cardboard, just like weird things they collect.
Yeah, anything.
Totally.
Just don't like to throw anything away.
Yeah.
Totally. I don't know. Dave, do you have any questions?
The last question I had was, you said that your uncle used to have the company.
Oh
name
yeah.
Odds On.
So this is a not a downside to it, but if you look up odds on, sometimes it will show up that I was incorporated and I've been running since 1973. Well, I was only born in 72, so that looks a bit weird. But that's my uncle. He came over here and he had so his company was called Odds On Enterprises Limited. And he had a plumbing company called Odds On. The Odds On obviously comes from our surname, and the Odds On part is Odds On is an English gambling term.
Oh.
So we had this little cheesy
Odds on.
odds on
Odds on
as
this.
in-
Like
Oh,
you're
yeah,
betting
odds on
that.
this.
yeah,
Okay,
so like odds and even.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
So we used to have this little kind of cheesy gimmick when we first started the Odds On company. It used to be Odds On, a great bet for your new home, because odds on is a gambling term. Yeah, so you put a bet on the odds or a bet on the evens. Yeah. So he started the company. Like I say, he passed before I moved to Canada, and then I moved here. And I guess my auntie had been waiting for one of her kids to start a business, and they hadn't. And when I moved here and said I was going to start a business, she called me and said, "Oh, would you take over the company name?" Like she had been paying, a few $100 a year just to keep the name registered. And I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, my surname's odd. Do I really need a business with my surname in it?" Like, there's a story about my surname as well that goes back a few generations, that my great 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 grandmother's surname was Odd, and my great 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 grandfather's surname was Taylor. And he was obviously a very weak man, because back then, normally men were more dominant than the woman. But she refused to take his name, so he took her name. So we all got the name Odd. In theory, I should have been Chris Taylor, and that would have been a very simple for my life. I wouldn't have had any problems with that. So yeah, so my auntie wanted me to take the Odds On Enterprises business. So
That's cool.
I kind of thought about it for a while, and I was like, and she was, Sid would be so proud of you, my uncle, and I was like, okay, so that's what I did. So that's when I took. So my company name is Odds On Enterprises Limited, and we trade as Odds On Home Inspections.
That's cool.
So that's where it generated from.
Yeah, that's
so
a cool backstory.
yeah,
A good ode to your uncle as well.
yeah, and my aunt is super proud now, because the business has done so well here, and she's kind of happy. She still lives in Ogden in the same house she's lived in forever.
That's great.
What's the culture like with the company? Curious about what the culture is like.
The guys.
Yeah. Do you guys like all hang out? Do you guys?
Yeah,
Yes,
we
you
we
guys
do
drink?
actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So pre-COVID, we would do monthly meetings
Okay.
in a pub. Always in a pub.
Of
And
course.
we would
of course.
we would dedicate the first like hour and a half, 2 hours to sensible, slow drinking, like actual proper meeting, and then we would just shut the book and we would just have a good drink together. Yeah, we're still, we don't live in each other's pockets by no means, but we do socially. We do meet, like I say, once a month there, and sometimes we'll just meet. Before COVID, we would just meet for a drink.
Yeah.
Every year, I take the guys away.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Crazy.
We'd go to a hotel somewhere. I have a boat, and we went to Ghost Lake once, and we took the boat and just ripped around like maniacs. And we've been to Canmore a few times. We was meant to go to Canmore this year in December, and obviously that got cancelled. But yeah, we'll go away and stay for a couple of nights and just kick back and enjoy. Yeah, a couple
Celebrate.
of days.
You got to.
Yeah, that was like one of the things that we had a business coach that recommended was like when you're working so hard, you need to have some sort of celebration or something to look forward to, because if you're not celebrating your successes, then why are you working so
There's
hard?
no point. Yeah. I'm a big traveller, so pre this I would travel a lot. So
Yeah.
Same with us.
Yeah, we travel a lot.
Yeah.
And we're starting to celebrate more and,
Yeah. Do things, dinners.
yeah.
We're actually going to Canmore this weekend.
Yeah.
I love Canmore.
Yeah.
But what are we doing?
Stargazing.
Start-
with our girlfriends.
Not just me.
You got like one.
You can come, Chris.
You got them two sleeping bags. We zip them together. You're gonna lay in the back of a truck.
It's like a stargazing, snowshoeing thing.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
And where are you staying?
It's like some sort of Airbnb that's like
Cool.
dog friendly as well.
Cool.
Too, so you bring
Oh,
the
perfect.
dogs.
I have 3 dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I love Canmore. Maybe one day I'll buy somewhere in Canmore.
Yeah, Canmore's great.
I haven't actually stayed in Canmore, but I just look
We
for
did it for high school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that was
a while ago.
that was a blur. That was
That was
it's just so much partying.
Some
there.
good- It's just some great bars and restaurants there, obviously.
Yeah,
not
really good
now,
food
but,
there.
But
Yeah.
there's some awesome places.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
their downtown there is pretty solid.
Yeah, I like it.
And it's not as busy as Banff.
No, I'm more of a Canmore fan than Banff.
Yeah.
Have you expanded out to
Yeah,
Canmore?
I have a guy who lives in Canmore.
Oh.
Alex, the English guy.
Yeah.
He's
So he does all the Canmore.
He does our Canmore and Banff, and he kind of comes to Cochrane way,
Yeah.
and he does that area. So
Yeah.
he's pretty. We're pretty small in Canmore and Banff. Like there's obviously a set amount of realtors, and they have their guys they use. So it's breaking that mold to give us a chance. So
Yeah.
we're hoping to get pretty big and bigger there anyway.
Canmore is booming.
Yeah,
It's
someone
been
said
booming since 2015.
Someone said it was like 600 sales last year.
Like
wow.
the average price is like 800K.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like
There's mobile homes there. They're like 550.
yeah, condos are like over 600.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because you can't buy in Banff, so everyone goes to Canmore.
Yeah.
Why can't you buy in Banff?
You can only buy there if you live there and work there.
Oh, didn't know
Yeah.
that too.
I have friends that live in Banff, but yeah, they live in either Canmore or Cochrane.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
That's
it's
crazy.
crazy.
I had a question with your business development. Do you do everything yourself, or do you have like a coach? Do you how do you, when you're growing your business, who do you bounce ideas from? And is it with the team or is it with yourself? Do you got
Yeah.
a coach?
So I even though I own the company 100%, and I don't have any partners. It's just me. I've always treated
Has anyone tried to buy in? Have you ever thought about partnering?
No, I've thought about everything. Buying, selling, franchising. You name it. But I just
Why didn't you want to sell franchises?
sounds like
don't-
quality.
I don't. That's the thing. I don't know. I feel I'm making a good living out of it. I do well out of it. I have a good life, and so I'm kind of why change it. But I've always treated the business that even though it's mine and I do what I want, essentially I've always treated it like our business. So I never make
Like art?
as in my guys.
Oh,
yeah.
like the team. Yeah.
The team. I never make any decisions on my own. I never say, oh, we're going to start doing this now. I never do that. I'll write something down, and then when we have our monthly meeting, and I'll get together, and obviously I can overrule all of them if I want, but if I think it's a good enough idea and they don't, it doesn't mean it won't happen. But I do run it through them and try and give them, and sometimes that's hurt me, as in push back, even though I think it's the right thing. But I always try and include them, so I've always made it their business, and I think by doing that, their dedication to me is, they know that if they work hard, that they treat the business like theirs as well, that the more work that comes in, the more work they get. So if they want to, be a bad inspector, that it's only going to hurt them in the long run. So I've treated it like our business, even though it's mine, and hopefully, they respect that. I think I've never fired anyone.
That's what I was gonna say. Also, the loyalty and like it seems like it's like a bond between all you guys.
Yeah,
like
and
a
I do,
mutual
and I
trust.
think by treating it as in it's ours and not just mine.
Yeah,
Someone go, oh, hey, boss, whatever. I don't see myself as the boss.
yeah.
I see it as our business together, and the idea is that we all stay in this business until we retire, and that's the goal.
Yeah.
Everyone has a good life and everyone's happy, and that's the plan.
I think that's the difference between like a leader and a boss, right? Like
I agree. Yeah.
people would rather be like follow a leader, and if you're leading by example, and you're on the ground working with them too, it's like they can respect it a lot more than if you were sitting like somewhere else and just chilling, and while everyone's working for you, and you're just you're reaping the benefits of them, but you're not actually putting in the work in yourself.
Yeah, they know how hard I work.
Yeah.
And that would I love to go and do 2 inspections every day, go home and chill out, and then look in my schedule and see where I'm going tomorrow, and my phone never ring. God, that'd be nice. But they know how hard I work. They know that, and I'm working for them. Like when I'm booking 60 inspections a week, I'm booking it for them, not necessarily for me.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. I will kick back at some point and do more of the running and less of the home inspections, and that's what I need to do. But the thing is, I enjoy the inspections. I enjoy the inspections still. So
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what does the future look like for you?
If I could retire 55,
Okay.
like semi-retire 55, and just maybe not inspect anymore, but run the business, that would probably be my goal right now.
Yeah.
I can run the business from anywhere, kind of thing.
For sure.
If I'm within reason of time difference.
Yeah.
We do have a place in BC, and I love it out there. But I do have Wi-Fi as well, and that obviously in works. Yeah, but I do like to be.
Sounds like
away.
some expansion too that you're doing already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you say Yukon?
So I mentored a guy. I mentored a guy, and he. It was this is the story. So this guy calls me. I'm on a home inspection in Calgary, and I was on my own. Realtor it's gone, and the buyer wasn't coming, and your house was empty. And this guy calls me, and he says, "I know you don't know me. You don't know me at all, but one of your guys did a home inspection for me a few years ago. I decided to become a home inspector, and I now live in Whitehorse, Yukon, and I have my first home inspection tomorrow, and I haven't got a clue what I'm doing." So I was like, okay. So I spent an hour and a half on the phone with him at the start, and then I spent another 2 hours on the phone with him that night, and I didn't know him, never met him. I sent him my invoices, I sent him my contracts, I showed him my price list, I sent him my template. I spent an hour going through the iPad with him, over the phone, telling him what to do. I had my iPad in front of me. I basically got him going, so his first home inspection wasn't a disaster.
That's awesome. Yeah, giving back.
And that guy texts me every single day, without fail. His wife gets mad that he speaks to me more than he does her. Yeah. He's killed it in the Yukon.
Oh.
Really?
He's doing so awesome. This is like 3 or 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
So he's been doing amazing up there. I've met him twice. He's come here twice, and we've been out for beers. And the first meet was kind of funny because we'd never met each other before.
Yeah.
So I mentored him. He has a company called Northern Guardian up there, and so we kind of planned that Northern Guardian will probably become odds on, and he's going to keep a couple of guys up there, and then he's moving back to Calgary sometime this year.
That's
so
awesome.
We'll see about some sort of a bit of a partner merge or what, I don't know.
I think Edmonton would be great.
And yeah, he's an ex-army guy actually, and he's like, he doesn't mind being away from home a few days a week. It's the way they are, and he's mentioned about maybe he'll spend a few days in Edmonton, and we'll try and get the ball rolling up there, and then maybe expand up there. But maybe if I do Edmonton, maybe I'll start to consider a franchise.
Yeah, Edmonton, Lethbridge would be great too. I heard there's really good growth in Lethbridge.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Well, it only makes sense for you, man. You're just slowly growing and
yeah, I guess the idea would be just to sit back and let
Yeah.
it grow itself, and but you have to have some sort of management now.
Yeah,
Exactly.
because I think it sounds like you have a pretty solid system that you've created, and you're constantly working on and refreshing and getting it like up to date, so
Yeah.
it makes it easier for your guys.
Yeah, totally.
So
He is the system.
Yeah,
but you also,
basically, yeah.
but also the tools and the
Yeah,
systems too,
yeah.
and
Yeah,
the
but
training
if
and
I
everything.
didn't have to inspect at all,
Yeah.
then I could make it even better. You
Yeah.
know, and I do need.
Well, that's why I'm so surprised. You don't really use apps. You're not like
No.
It's all on your own still, which is
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're also even like proctoring the exams and stuff like that, so you can even certify the guys and get
Yeah,
them going.
totally.
It's
So
like a little army of.
yeah, and you know
inspectors.
what? When I spend time with them guys who are becoming new home inspectors, they always leave and they're so happy. Because I give them everything that I tell them everything that I do and how I do it. I don't see anyone as competition, and I'm happy to help people. And yeah, it's all camaraderie.
Yeah.
I guess before we end, is there any last things you want to say, Dave? You have any other questions?
No,
or-
that was my last
That
question.
was your- yeah. Do you have anything you want to say, or any advice, or just any last things I'd like to give the guest the opportunity to say on the podcast?
Yeah, the biggest thing for me was being self-employed when I came here. You know, the whole, the land of opportunity is Canada's quite widely known in some countries, and the lifestyle that Canada's given me, the opportunity it's given me is not, I didn't have anything essentially when I come here. I decided I was going to be a home inspector because of Alan showing an interest in me and my construction background. But anyone can do what I've done. It's not I'm not more intelligent than anyone else, and I don't have any business skills, But yeah, just hard work and dedication, and I think being honest and open is one of the biggest things. I think people just appreciate you if you're kind and you care, and your personality is important in our industry, especially if you can connect with someone.
Totally.
They remember you. Yeah, if you connect with them, they remember you, and they'll be like, oh, I met this guy, he was a great home inspector, you should use him. Or I met that realtor, such a nice guy. When they're out with their friends, they start to tell their friends, and everyone likes a referral. No one likes to just pick someone off of the the phone list and give them a call. They want a referral is everything.
Yeah.
Totally.
Referral and relationships, because
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
I don't even remember how long I've been using you guys now.
Probably a long time. Yeah,
because
a long time.
Because Jason switched once we joined too.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
and haven't had any issues ever since. So
And that's the thing all the time. And this is what I tell my guys, and what's so key about doing good work is that if you're working really hard and you're doing really well, and the realtors are happy with you, why would they choose someone else? Why would they look for someone else? As soon as you mess up, they're gonna second guess and maybe start to look for another company.
yeah.
So it's so key that we keep you guys happy, keep our client. Well, happy clients are gonna come to their realtors and say, hey, the home inspector was awesome. That means the realtor's then happy.
Yeah.
So, we work for the clients, but we rely on you guys really to feed us them links.
Yeah.
Totally. And
So-
we've had some home inspectors where they've almost killed the deal too, right? And that's where I feel like just the communication that you could create is
It's like-
very important, right?
This is like, write hard, speak soft, however you want to say, what we do as a report. But the bottom line is everything can be fixed. My job is not to kill a deal. My job is not to make a deal go through. My job is to give you a list of deficiencies, and I'm going to speak on one level. I'm going to tell you what's wrong with this home, and then then you make your own decisions. I'm not on no power trip that I'm like God home inspector and I'm going to kill every deal there is because it's my divine right. I want every deal to go through, but I want every deal to go through and the clients be happy with their purchase.
Yeah.
So
No surprises.
no, exactly, yeah.
Okay, I think that's it. Chris Odds
Yes.
with Odd on Home
Home,
Inspection.
Correct.
Yes.
1,200 plus Google reviews. If you don't believe it, Google it.
Yeah. Google doesn't lie.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on,
Yeah,
Chris.
thanks for coming on,
Thanks.
Chris.
No, thanks for having me. It's been awesome.
And